on stuff for this class. And that includes all the way up through the dimensioning we did last time. Um, so yeah. Okay, so I do think I'm sharing my screen at this point. Let me load it up here. And we will hope for the best. And on the back screen. All right, so we are going to do the first, we might be able to get through the first 10, I don't know, of the green sheet parts from the backside, the numbers. So that's not too bad. Okay. So let's go ahead and wish I could make that smaller. Let's do some new drawings. Okay, so from our default location to the default drawing to the first type. And it should look like this more or less at some point. Oh, yeah, I need this and I need to close that, close this. Okay, first thing, of course, let's go ahead and label it and give us a title. We'll adjust the size shortly. How about part 1 and name, and this will look better. Right click, get rid of that tool. This will look better when we change the size of the drawing or of the dimensions. Okay, so we'll go to place view, choose a base drawing, or base view rather, and let's go for part 1. And again, these are easy to decide on the front view and the scale. They tend to be pretty right on just coincidentally. And so we need a projected view. It knows which view. We'll go like that. Then right side and then top right, right click, create. And let's make this one shaded. Right click, edit view, and we'll turn on shaded. Okay, for our isometric. And if you hit the home key on your keyboard, if you have a keyboard, it will zoom to fit, and that looks pretty good as far as making it not feel crowded. And let's go ahead and dimension. Okay, starting on the left, because we start with width just because the first thing that happens is this. Okay, and I'll go ahead and make it look prettier. It's text and this one, and I liked 0.33. I don't know. Your call on that one. 0.25 is probably fine. It's definitely fine. The real issue is seeing things on the projector. So if you can see it on your screen, it's fine. Okay, I'll rearrange this because it apparently uses the same settings as this. Okay, so our first one is left to right. The first thing that happens is that this distance from the full left edge to where the slope face starts. And it could either go here or here. It could go either of these places. Neither is great because they're both to interior lines, not to the contour. But other than that, they're fine. So we'll just keep the one on the front view. Okay, starting left to right. The next thing that happens is actually this, where the slope face ends. And that's definitely not as good as this location. This one goes to an interior line and the extension line crosses over. Here we go to a contour and nothing crosses. It's beautiful. Okay. Next thing that happens left to right is the distance across here, which is a lot better than on the top view, which is an interior line. We like the contour. And then the only other width is total width. And that can go pretty much anywhere. Okay, height. Starting at the bottom, the first thing that happens is total height. That's it. And this cross extension line, so let's look somewhere else. That looks ideal on the right side. And I'll delete that. Okay, that's it for height and depth front to back. First thing that happens is this. That's fine. And it goes to a contour. I'm not crazy about long extension lines, but it's still better than interior line. Okay, and so that's the first thing that happens. And that same uh, process or same options apply to the other three or other two depth dimensions. And I'll get rid of this because we're not dimensioning to our isometric views. And there you go. That is all the information you need in order to make this part and no extra information. That's our guideline. Okay, so you go ahead and save it. It will auto-populate with whatever you called that file, and that's good. And it will automatically choose a .dwg file type because it's a drawing file. And then if you do that, when you go to, oh shoot, cancel, they'll be lined up is the point of what is not actually happening. Okay, so there's part one. Boom. Let's do new drawing and base view of part two. Okay, so part two is a weird one because, and I'm just going to go ahead and do the auto project situation. There isn't really a great view that gives a good full idea or the best idea of what the shape actually looks like. This arguably is probably the view that gives the closest information, but it's still not great. So it doesn't really matter which we choose as our front view. But for these, we are just going to go with whatever the default is, the way we made it. And let's turn on shaded for the isometric. Let's go tools to text. And I'll go like here. This is called part two. And your name. Smythe now for some reason. And we'll come back to that to adjust it. And let's start throwing some dimensions on there. Left to right, the first thing that happens is this, which is not ideal. And I should really take a second to change the default settings, but I'd rather take 10 seconds every time rather than 5 minutes once. Actually, that's a bad trade-off. Okay, so first thing that happens is the distance from here to here, and it's not ideal, goes to an interior line, but so does this, and it's not that bad. Okay, next thing that happens left to right is the distance here, and that's fine. Contour between adjacent shapes, nothing crosses, beautiful. Next thing that happens is the distance to here, which is another to a contour, nothing crosses, beautiful. And the only other width is total width. Okay, then height down to up. This is a weird one. The first thing that happens is the height of this hidden line, which we don't like. The other ways to do it would be like, I think we're just going to let this one go. Here, I mean, this is not to a hidden line, but it's sort of like inside the view. I mean, there isn't really a good spot. I guess technically this is a little better because it's not a hidden line, but it's an interior line. And the reason why we don't like hidden lines is hidden lines are always interior lines, to some degree. And so we're just going to pretend that's a good one. And the only other height is total height, which goes there. Okay, depth front to back. First thing that happens is this, which this, even though this is an interior line, it gives a much better idea of what it's pointing to as opposed to this, because it's just the distance here, which here is a better idea of what's actually going on. So that's where that would go. And then depth continuing, excuse me, the only other thing is total depth. And let's rearrange this. Boom, part two. Part two, and save it where it goes. Save it in whichever folder, hopefully just your documents folder. Save it in whichever folder your part file is in. And that's actually an important concept for this, making sure you save things in the same folder, like in the same hierarchy, because they need similar, like if you deleted the part, this part file, this drawing file wouldn't work anymore. Okay, it's referencing that part file. So even if you like rearrange your files, like made a subfolder for the part files and a subfolder for the drawing files, they wouldn't really work. If you made it that way originally, maybe, but definitely not if you move things. So there's that. Okay. And all right, so new drawing. And let's go ahead and do base view of part 3. And I get the impression that most of you can probably handle like the sort of extra stuff that we do on these, like the uh, shading or the text box. And it's not super necessary that I do it every time, but I do want to make sure you understand that it's required. So we will do it. Part 3. Okay, and we can get going. Okay, with dimension, first thing that happens is this, which is what we want. And it goes to a contour. Doesn't cross over. It's beautiful. Okay, it's as good as it gets. Why can't enter work? Okay, then working left to right, the next thing that happens is the distance to this notch, which is good here. And the only other width is total width. Fantastic. Okay, height down to up. First thing that happens is the distance, the height of this sort of notch. And the only other height is total height, which this crosses a bunch. So we're just going to put it over here. And then depth front to back. First thing that happens is this. And there isn't really a better choice. You might consider this better because it's actually the dimension of like a part that pops out rather than a part that is left over. Either the 3 here or the 2 here is fine. They're dimensioning the same thing. They're dimensioning the location of this line. One is dimensioning it from the back, one is dimensioning it from the front, but it doesn't matter which one you have because we have total dimension or total depth, just so long as you don't have both of them. Okay, you can see how one of these would be redundant if we have total width and one of them, you can do the math to figure out the other one, which makes it unnecessary, which makes it wrong. Okay, and let's get rid of all of this stuff. And there you go, part 3. Okay, new drawing. And let's go base. And we're flying through these. I don't know, I think we probably do half of them. And we'll go front view, top view, right side, top right. And let's rearrange them. What's going on, bud? And let's do our text, annotate text. Part 4. Joe. Oh my, I don't know. And let's get dimensioning. Okay, left to right. First thing that happens is this interior line, but it's not, there's nowhere to do it better. And let's go like this. Maybe we'll go 0.2. There we go. Okay. And while we're here, we can rearrange this one. Okay. And like I said, this isn't ideal, but it does go to, I mean, it goes to a interior line, but it's not terrible. It's fine. Eat it. Throw the trash out. Just, just, just deal with it. I don't want to know about it. Okay. Don't leave anything behind. Okay. All right. So next width is where this ends. It's fine there. Same dilemma as the one before. Okay, next thing that happens is this, which that's ideal, goes to a contour, beautiful. And the only other width is total width. And we can rearrange this to look prettier. Okay, height down to up. First thing that happens is this edge right here. Fantastic. And the only other height is total height, which crosses over here. So let's just put it here. Okay, and then depth front to back. First thing that happens is that. That's fine. And the only other depth is total depth. Oh yeah, let's turn on the shaded for this. Okay. I don't know why this is light gray. Is the part different? Uh, oh, you guys might not have. I'm just realizing that your resolution might not have the same options for changing material. The one you want to change, like if your toolbar is cramped up at the top just because of resolutions, this sort of double arrow, the drop down you want to change for color is the one called default. First of all, it has more options. Second of all, it shows you the color preview that does generic show it? I can't remember. Yeah. Plus the material thing will affect other things like it's it actually calculates like mass and stuff like that based on the different materials. Um, um, I'm fine with the translucent colors. Well, don't worry about it for the uh, drawing files. We'll talk about colors later. And you'll see that shaded means whatever color it is. Okay, you saw it update there. But like I said, don't worry about changing the colors of the parts. And we'll go back here, and I wonder if it updates because I didn't save the thing. I don't know. Maybe, maybe not. Okay, let's do new drawing for part 5, base view. Part 5. Okay, so this is another tricky one where, all right, this looks like a house to me, and the front of the house looks like this, if it were a house, and this probably gives a better idea of what the shape of the object is, but it's hard to deny that this looks like a house. So we'll go ahead with that. And the scale should be set to 1. I don't know if I bumped something, but we'll go with that as the front, even though it says right. And so we'll go top view, right side, and top right, front top right. A good test is if the isometric view, this top right one, looks normal. That will tell you whether or not you have a good front view. Okay, so there is our part 5. Let's go ahead and annotate. If you went ahead and already did this part with its default front, that's fine. As long as your dimensioning is correct. Uh, and all right, let's get going. Okay, dimension left to right. The first thing that happens is this distance, which is not ideal. It crosses into the view. Let's see if we can find a better spot for it. And we can put it over here where it's going to a contour and not crossing over. So definitely better. Okay. Next thing that happens is the distance to the point of the roof, which here it's an interior line. And here it also is an interior line. I think this one gives a better idea of what it's pointing to and looks a little cleaner, so we'll get rid of this one. Okay, left to right, the next thing that happens is this ledge or the edge right here, which has the same dilemma as the first one. So we will get rid of this one. And the only other width is total width, which we will go here. Okay, height down to up. First thing that happens is the height of this, like where the roof starts. And neither view is ideal, but they're both the same issue with the interior line. So we'll just keep one of them. The next thing that happens is the height of the pitch of the roof there crosses over as compared to this. And oh, we finally have a 0.5. I don't think we've had a 0.5 yet. And, or maybe we did. I think B has a 0.5. And so that's the height. Oh, wait, hold on. Yeah, that is the height. This 4.5 is the height of this, the pitch of the roof. And the only other height is total height, which here is fine. Here is also fine, but all things being the same, the long extension line is worse. Remember, the whole point is about avoiding confusion, and the more lines and the longer the lines are less ideal. Okay, then depth, start front to back. First thing that happens is this, which is fine. The next thing that happens is this, which we're crossing over. Maybe we could go to here. Is a little better. It's the distance. It's this length right here. I don't know why it is drawing weird. Can I do that? Can I do from this point to that point? Yeah, there we go. Okay, so it's the length of the pitch of the lower part of the roof. Let's go like that. So it's not the distance to this top edge, which going back front to back would be the next thing. This is the interior line. I'd rather have this one. And then the only other depth front to back is total depth. There we go. And we'll make this look pretty. Center it. And it's a little bit crowded here. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to change the scale, at least of these three. And if you go to the front view and don't have anything selected, we'll call this next bit optional. As long as you don't have anything selected, like you click off and have nothing selected, you can right click and go to edit view. And instead of a scale of 1, let's try a scale of 0.75. And we'll hit OK, and these should update. Yep, there we go. That's probably a little small. Actually, it's fine. This doesn't have to be the same scale. I mean, I don't know why you wouldn't make it the same scale. But yeah, I mean, maybe one was a little better. It's about the same. Okay, and there you go, part 5. Moving right along, drawing, new drawing. Base view, let's pick it. Part 6 is the easy one. I like the front view. Oh, well, yeah, I can arrange it like this. Let's go front view, right side view, top right, and then right click OK. And let's go ahead and turn on the shading for that one. And I'm just realizing that some of you might not realize that the click color is either right click or left click. Okay, regular click, left click, or mouse 1, all the same thing. On mine makes a black circle, and right click or mouse 2 or alt click is the red one. What is the alt click on Chromebook? Is it control click? Although I guess none of you are using Chromebook, so it doesn't matter. Okay, let's go ahead and put our label in here. This is part 6 uh and we'll adjust that shortly. Let's get rid of the text tool. Let's throw a dimension on there. Left to right, the first thing that happens is this, and it's about as good as it gets. Edit dimension style. Text. Okay. So left to right, first thing that happens is that. That's fine. Going back left to right, the next thing that happens is that, which is not ideal. Interior line. This one is about the same. I guess I'd go with the one on the top view just because it's a shorter extension line. Doesn't really matter. And then left to right, the only other thing that happens is total width. There you go. Height down to up. First thing that happens is this. This one's a contour. We'll keep the other one. Okay, so I will keep the one on the right side view. And then depth front to back. The first thing that happens is this, but we're crossing over an interior line. I'd rather have this. And then let's get rid of this. And the only other depth is total depth, which could go either place. I would rather have both these together. It's a little easier to see what's pointing to what. Either way, it's fine. Let's make this prettier. And that's part 6. And maybe that goes there. We'll see. Okay, so new drawing. Base view. Let's go to 7. And I'm fine with that scale. I'm going to rearrange it. And let's get a projected view off of this. Right, top right front. And we'll go like this. Let's edit the top right view, turn on shaded, need a text box. Part 7. And let's get going. Okay. Left to right, first thing that happens is this edge right here, which is not ideal, but it's what we're going to go with. And okay. And it's an interior line, which isn't ideal, but we'll go with it. And then the next thing that happens is this edge right here, contour, it's beautiful. Left to right, next thing that happens is that, out contour, beautiful. Same thing over here, fantastic. And then to locate this, it's the same issues as the first one, interior for both, but not that bad overall. And there we go. Those are, oh wait, no, we need total width. And these stack dimensions, I think, look really neat, really clean. Not neat as in like neato, but like it's organized. Okay, so total width is there. And so that's it for width. Height down to up. First thing that happens is this, which is a long extension line. And this one goes to a hidden line, if it'll give it to me. So this one would be better. I don't mind this one because it shows you it's the height of a sloped line. But we didn't make the slope line, if you recall. We didn't make the slope line when we made the part. We just needed this point, which was 1 off the ground. So actually, this does make more sense. Next thing that happens is this, same issue. And the only other height is total height. Beautiful. And for this one, depth, there's only one depth, total depth. And let's pretty this up. And maybe this a little crowded, which makes this a little crowded. This a little crowded, actually. Yeah, there we go. There we go. And you'd save it as part 7. You good? There's toilet roll up there. Help yourself. Okay, part 7, cruising right along, new drawing, mouse over. And let's go with part 8. I think we probably spend more time doing the pretty stuff rather than actually dimensioning, which lets you know how fast it actually happens. Right click OK. And let's turn on right click edit view. Turn on shaded, hit OK. Text. And part 8. I just notice this. Part 8. Weird. Okay, there's no capital 8. And let's get going. Okay, left to right, the first thing that happens is this edge right here, which has a long extension line. So we're going to put it on the top view, which not only is a shorter extension line, but it's also to a contour, which is what we're looking for. So this dimension is actually going to be there. And again, I don't know if everyone's getting this, but these dimensions aren't just the same number. They're pointing to the same thing. Okay, they are the length of that distance. Okay, so for the same reason, thank you, we're going to do it there. Okay, then left to right, the only other thing that happens is total width, which is fine right there. Okay, height down to up, the first thing that happens is that edge right there, which is definitely better there. The next thing that happens is the height of this, which is this going to be a weird number? Okay, so this is a weird number. Excuse me. And it is a weird number because we didn't use that number to make it. Okay, the numbers we used to make it were like the cutout amount. And while it is fine to technically just, follow the rules for dimensioning, it wasn't needed to make, and therefore we don't really need it. Okay, the dimensions we need are these initial dimensions, 8 by 6, and its extrusion. So that was, we need 8 by 6 and extruded 5. Let's work through this the other way and see if we can just do the dimensions that we needed to make it and then rearrange things. Okay, so the we needed to start, we needed total width, total height, and the extrusion, which was, I just showed it, 5. Okay, so let's go back here. We need total width is there, total height is there, and extrusion, which is total depth, is there. Okay, so that's the first part feature. Excuse me. Okay, then this one, we needed only the height of sort of the ledge, and the extrusion was just a cut all the way through. So we just need the height of that ledge, which is this one, the height here that we needed to keep in order to cut. Okay, and then the last bit here is just how far in we cut from the corner, which was 3, which we is actually, it's this distance. It's the distance from here to here, and it is also the distance from here to here. Okay, so those are the only dimensions we needed to make this. And let's see if we can find them better locations. Although it's not terrible. We can get rid of both of these, which cross over things, by doing the reciprocal, the remainder. So we can get rid of this one, and we can also do this here to get rid of this one. And there you go. That is it for part 8. That's a different way of doing it. It is a lot easier when it's a simple part and you can go through each of the part features. If you had 100 part features, it probably would not be the easier way to do it. But there we go. Let's give a little more space so it doesn't feel crowded. And that's it. Okay. So let's go ahead and do 9. I think we're just going to do 10 today. Or total of 10 different ones. Let's pick part 9. Oh, we get some curved surfaces. Excellent. Okay, so this is new. Okay, so curved surfaces, we're going to take care of. All right, so this is an entirely new thing. Stick with me. Let's do all the stuff we know first. Okay, projected view, click on this, top right front, all that stuff. Right click on this one, edit view, turn on shaded. And we're back. Okay, so here's the thing about curved surfaces. Everything is about size and location. Those are the only things you need. Oh, wait, let's do this part first. Annotate text. Is there a keyboard shortcut for text? I needs to know. T. Okay, yeah, sweet. Sweet T. Okay, T for text tool. Excellent. Although I still need to show you where I click, so never mind. Okay, part 9. Joe Blow. Okay, and all right, so we'll rearrange that at some point. The size and location, first thing we need to do for anything that is curved is the is this center? Actually, the center mark. Okay, it's this one right here, I think. Let's see what happens. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so the center mark is this one right here, and you click on any curved surfaces. Okay, that'll get you that. That'll get you that. And that's it. There, you won't get a center mark on any other click. Okay, so there's center mark. that will give us location. This is the equivalent of like a point. We are going to have to dimension the location of the center marks, which they work out just like other lines that we need to dimension to, where something happens. This is the same thing, where something happens. So there's location. Size, if you go to dimension, just like the other ones, you need to click on the curved surface and bring it out somewhere like this. Okay. Let me make this bigger to start. Edit this. And that's where I clicked it. There we go. Are we recording? We are. And this. Wow, that's way not faster. Okay. So here are the rules for curved surfaces. Well, first of all, they give it to you automatically. Why is this there? Stop that. Okay. They give you automatically whether it's a radius or a circle, or excuse me, whether it's an arc or a circle. Arcs get radius, are dimensioned by their radius, and circles are dimensioned by their diameter, and it will do it automatically. Okay, so the only issue is where do you put this? And the general rule is you don't put it straight out in some multiple of 90 degrees, what's called a orthogonal angle. Somewhere like this, 45 is fine. 30/60, either direction is also fine. But we want it sort of out of the way, the same principle as with the regular dimensions. And the other one over here, I still have the dimension tool. Click here, and you can put it in between the center point and the arc. Generally, we want it out like this. It will let you do this, which I think is kind of weird. I think it might be a little confusing. So your choice between this in here, assuming you have enough space with the actual text, but this over here is fine also. Okay, so we've dealt with curved surfaces first, size and location. Now we just do regular dimension. Okay, left to right, the first thing that happens is this, which is not ideal because we have these lines crossing. We will be able to get this differently, like the distance from here to here. If we have this distance and total distance, we can let the audience, whoever is this is intended for, infer the fact that this is 2, and therefore we don't need that extension line. Okay, so the first thing that happens is this, but like I said, we've dealt with it because it is the difference there to the center point. And everything else width-wise, like if we did this to this, we don't need that because this radius gives us the other distance. So we don't need that. And that is everything that happens width-wise. We can tidy it up a little bit. And move this thing there. Okay, so height-wise. First thing that happens is the distance from here to here, which we don't need. And the reason for that is we will have total height, and we already have the radius here is 3. So we know that one of these will work. Why is that not working? There we go. We know this is 3. So we can go ahead and delete that. So we have total height. The only other thing we need to deal with is the height of this center mark. And the default between shapes, this is clearly not ideal. It is crossing over a bunch of stuff. So the height of this center point is probably better over here. And we'll get rid of that. Yeah, it passes there. Okay, that is not too bad for height-wise. I give it a little more space, make it look pretty. And yeah, that's it. And then the um only other dimension is depth, and there's only one dimension to dimension in that dimension, and it's total depth. Part 9. Fantastic. And the last one for today, part 10. Let's do base view, and it's already guessing part 8. Yes, you take this. Let's go to, sure, part 10. And we're going to get plenty of practice with curved surfaces, with our curved surface mantras. Okay, so first let's tidy it up. Right click, edit view, turn on shading, and then annotate text and part 10. Uh, okay, and so let's get going. Okay, we have curved surfaces. First thing is center mark. Click on the curved surface. That's our only curved surface. And so that's going to be where we dimension things to. We just need to dimension the size of curved surfaces, which this is the only curved surface. So we can go like this or like this. Either one is fine. And we'll make it bigger. What happens if I double click on this? Is that going to work? No. Okay. So we got to do this, edit dimension style, text, middle one. Okay. So that's the size of our curved surface. Now let's do our dimensioning. Okay. So the first thing that happens is this, which we don't really need because this radius situation tells us that it's 3 from the center to there. So we know it's 2. The key is if we know this is 3, we also need to know the center mark is 5. So the real dimension we need is to locate this, which we can move that out of the way. And the distance from here to the center mark will get us most of our width dimensions. Okay, the next thing that happens is this, which we don't need because we know it's 3 from the center mark, or yeah, from the center of this center mark. And as long as we have total width, we're good to go, which total width can go either location. Okay, then height, the first thing that happens is the bottom of this, which is what this hidden line is dimensioning or showing. And we don't need either of these because this bottom edge of the curved surface is just whatever's left over when we make that cut that we know the size of. So the only dimension we need height-wise is total height. Okay, and then depth, front to back, the only dimension we need depth-wise is total depth. And we make this look pretty, and go like that. Okay, and that's it for part 10. Okay, save it up and let me know if you have any questions. All right, let's get that.